At the end of a very long but eventful day, it is now official. Raila Amolo Odinga is going to be a candidate for the presidency of the Republic of Kenya 2022. In his own words, he asks for nothing but the opportunity to serve. For all the personal sacrifices, for all the suffering he has gone through in his fight for a better Kenya, he does not ask Kenyans for any compensation. He does not ask Kenyans for anything. All he hopes that Kenyans can give him is an opportunity to serve the nation, that he has spent his entire lifetime, his whole youth, everything, in order to fight for that country to be better. Now, I found it super interesting that for the first time, Raila talked about what he has gone through in his fight for a better Kenya. You can do your own research. He has never brought up that topic. In my view, this is a clear signal that handlers are coming in now in a big way and beginning to chart the way forward for this great Kenyan. You see, Raila has always had a very small circle of people around him and handling him. And most of the decisions he has made personally, on his own. I'll give you a quick example. When Kenyans pushed him to be sworn in at Uhuru Park, most of his handlers were terrified. Most of his handlers did their best to persuade him, to completely forget about that idea. They considered it a very bad idea. Raila listened, but made his own decision to go ahead. I happen to know that in the past, many of these people close to Raila have brought up the idea of him speaking about the suffering he has gone through, the detentions, etc., etc., and using this to his advantage politically. Raila has always resisted the idea. But today, he brought it up. I found that super interesting and indeed very, very instructive. Now, we have a lot of ground to cover, so let's move quickly. And let's start with the highlights of the day. Raila Odinga's big day. His grand entry into Kasarani. What an entrance. And once again, I saw a small tiny clue suggesting that Raila is now listening more to his handlers. A huge group of his enthusiastic supporters were waiting at the gate of Kasarani to greet Baba. But he resisted the temptation and waited until his vehicle was inside Kasarani Stadium. Common sense security precautions that Baba has ignored in the past. Today, he did not ignore, and only showed himself at the top of his vehicle when he had already entered the secured stadium, secured security-wise. Now, to any keen observer, that entry into Kasarani spoke volumes. People have been saying, oh, Raila is no longer popular, or his supporters have not forgiven him for the handshake, or 2017 Manenos, or Raila is too old, or Raila has lost it, or Raila has lost the edge. Kenyans no longer love him, etc., etc. But that entrance today, you can review the videos on YouTube. You know, we have other politicians in Kenya who pay people to ensure that their entrance is grand. It is sad but true that there are some Kenyans who give 50 shillings and they will scream until you get shocked. It is not too difficult to tell the difference between a paid reception by a crowd and a spontaneous one, natural from the heart. It's not very hard to tell the difference. And it was very clear that the way Kenyans welcomed Baba into Kasarani was from the heart. You could sense the atmosphere. You could sense it in the air. And remember, the people who were at Kasarani were from every corner of the Republic of Kenya. And if you took a very close look, the people from outside Nyanza, from other parts of Kenya, overshadowed people from Raila's own home ground. I think the coast stood out for me. Raila even received a very warm welcome from the VIPs when he went around greeting them. And that surprised me. I asked myself, kwani Raila has a personal relationship with all these people? So many people. David Murathe's speech was interesting. He pledged that he will go all over Mount Kenya undoing the lies that have been spread in the region about Raila over the years. Now, that's a very brave thing to do. Just think about it. I come and tell you a lie. Then I come back to tell you, now, hold on a minute. What I told you the other day was a lie. And I knew I was lying to you. But I'm here today to tell you, hiyo yote ilikuwa uongo. Uongo wa siasa. And I'm here to tell you that this man is in fact a good man. This man is a man you should elect. It'll be interesting to see how that goes down. Professor Makau Mutua, who flew in all the way from the US, told us that actually in 2022, there is no competition. And if you're at Kasarani, it is very easy to get convinced about what the good professor was saying. He told us that Raila is in the Champions League. His opponents are obviously not. Bottom line, there will be no competition. And then there was the speech from what I consider to be the most unsung heroine of the second liberation, Ida Odinga, Mama Ida Odinga, Raila's better half. When Raila Odinga stood up to speak, he referred to her as the love of his life. Mama Ida has given many speeches in the recent past, and even in the past. I have never seen her so emotional. And she symbolically handed over Raila to the people of Kenya so that he may serve them. Actually, he'll just be finishing his life's work, in my opinion. In my opinion, the increasing role of Raila's handlers was also seen when he read his speech using technology. This is very old technology. We have seen it being used all over the world, specifically in the United States, when the American president addresses the people. Today, we saw it for the first time in the nation called Kenya. And I believe many people would have missed it completely. Except that when Raila reached point number 7, or is it 8, he ran into a problem reading the words. He had to prompt himself. He even said sorry. Then some people realized, Allah, kwani is reading from somewhere. But let's now get down into the hardball politics. I have a dear supporter of this channel. A very close friend. A man called Jamal. And we were discussing, before this big Azimio la Umoja event at Kasarani, last night. And I was telling him, expectations were high. And he predicted to me that no, the main thing here is Raila announcing his candidacy. My friend has been a firm Raila supporter for years. And of course he was right, and I was wrong. And of course Raila supporters all over the country and indeed all over the world are very happy, delighted, because I really scared them, telling them that there was a possibility that Baba will not run. They didn't want to hear that. And I understand them totally. But of course my views were based on solid information. And those who understand politics know that politics is very fluid. Things change a lot. And it happens all the time. Because, for example, at the time I first received this information I was using, nobody in the country was feeling like we need to be rescued from something. Now that feeling has become very strong. Many Kenyans have begun to look at this presidential race as some kind of trap, where if we take one wrong step, the country will go to the dogs. That is the opinion of many Kenyans. So nobody should throw barbs at me. And the views of these very many Kenyans is that only Raila Odinga has the capability of steering the country through this period so that we avoid this trap. This enticing trap that comes with many promises, many goodies, many temptations, especially for the young. Those who are not yet born or too young, when we lived in fear in Kenya, when we lived under a very draconian government that could not allow you to say certain things. And most of us were too cowardly or too young. And we had to rely on people like Raila Odinga to stand up for us and say no. And some of these people coming with goodies now were supporting that draconian government at the time. Were giving them ideas. Pick up so and so. Pick up this person. This person is talking too much. Do something about it. And it is very instructive that we saw a glimpse of that in the run-up to the 2017 presidential elections, and shortly after, which we can only link to these people who supported the draconian government in those days and are now back telling us that they are Safi Kama Pamba and that they're the people to lead us to a new Kenya. That is the feeling of very many Kenyans. And last time I checked, people are allowed to feel and to say what they think, without anybody bashing them and telling them to shut up, which is what supporters of one presidential candidate are very good at. The truth is, they don't want to hear anything against their candidate. They even attack me on my own channel and tell me, Chris, wacha kabisa. You're supposed to be balanced. Both candidates are the same. If they are corrupt, both of them are corrupt. If they have fought for Kenya, both have fought for Kenya in the same way. That's what they're telling me. You know, I find it almost impossible to tell lies on this channel. If I was to be as balanced as some people want me to be, it would involve telling lies. Telling people about things which are not there. Which I can never do. Anyway, my point is that a lot has changed. I don't think it was a very easy automatic decision for Raila Odinga to declare that he's vying for the 2022 presidency. I don't think so. You know, for all intents and purposes, Raila has been a core president since March 2018. And we have seen the big difference between what happened after March 2018 and what was happening in the run-up to the 2017 elections. Yeah. In my view, one of the major presidential candidates for 2022 was running things in 2017, and the other was running things after March 2018. So it is very easy for you to see what kind of leadership you should expect from either candidate. In my opinion, the decision is very simple for Kenyan voters. Yeah. You either take the money and the goodies, yeah, and vote to return us to 2017, or you take the money and the goodies and vote to have a continuity of what we have seen after March 2018. In fact, what we have seen from March 2018 at a higher level with that particular individual in power, that's really what it is. That's a choice we have as Kenyans. You know, in the Bible, there's the story of a man called Esau who sold his birthright for a bowl of soup. Yeah, I'm assuming that a bowl of soup in today's money is around Kenya shillings 50. Good soup, good tasty soup with enough bones is about 50 bob. And you see, there's nothing new under the sun. And therefore, as we speak today, there are Kenyans ready to sell their birthright of a better Kenya for a bowl of soup. Personally, I wouldn't even do it for all the money in the world. Yeah, but there's some Kenyans. You know, every man has a price. There's some Kenyans who would do it for a brand new vehicle. There's some Kenyans who would do it for a motorbike. The others who would do it for a wheelbarrow. And it is their right. Yeah, they're allowed to do that. And then regret later when it is too late. When that brand new cars become old. And when the soup which they consumed has been turned into waste, yeah, and delivered in a toilet somewhere. It is also possible for somebody to sell their birthright for a better Kenya, yeah, for temporary pleasure, yeah, like the orgasm of having a member of your tribe inside State House. Let us call it the tribal orgasm, which in my opinion is even worse than selling your birthright for a bowl of soup. But that is Kenya for you. That is human nature for you. Now, in conclusion, going forward, what we should expect is the announcement of Raila Odinga's team, his running mate, his key appointment in every part of the country. And all these are fairly predictable, except the choice of a running mate. Politically, I don't see any advantage of announcing a running mate very early. Yeah, indeed, there's an advantage of leaving it as late as possible. But you know my prediction. Yeah, Raila Odinga is usually consistent. I'm not so sure with the bigger role his handlers are taking on now. Yeah. However, Raila is usually consistent. And he has told us that this is all about Azimio la Umoja. And therefore it would make perfect sense. Yeah, if you've been following me on this channel and my prediction, it would make perfect sense if his running mate is from the Rift Valley. But let's just wait and see. Yeah, meanwhile, our congratulations to Raila Odinga for a very successful event, which was hyped a lot. In my view, it was almost an anti-climax, but still very successful. It has almost decided the presidential race in 2022. Oh yes. Indeed, if I was Raila's opponent for 2022, I would take this early opportunity to step down and at least avoid the embarrassment. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.